Welcome to Crowdsource Coffee, where we explore topics that support the well-being and growth of education leaders. I'm Michelle Liebert, here with some of my brilliant colleagues to talk about habits. But first, I have to ask, what is in everyone's cup?
I have coffee today, y'all. I actually have a green smoothie
Whoa.
that is in my cup today
Healthy.
with mango, soursop, chia seeds,
Wow.
kale, and coconut milk. So that is what is in my mason jar today.
You don't need coffee. You always got the energy.
Well, yes.
I, on the other hand, regular coffee with a splash of honey and half and half. So nothing special except it comes from my favorite coffee place, Insomnia Coffee. So that's that. It is a coffee crowdsource. So I thought I better be prepared.
You're probably the third person I know that also puts honey in their coffee. I put honey in my coffee and people look at me kind of strange when I do that.
Me
Wow,
too.
I know.
Me too.
It's good.
Yeah, it really is.
All of
Okay.
us do. Wow, that's awesome.
I am gonna hop into the coffee train. I usually do a lavender latte, which is what I have today, an iced lavender latte with whole milk. But sometimes I will do a honey lavender latte. So that's what's in my cup. And I'm in the mason jar train with you, Alexa.
Product placement.
Oh, nice. I don't have the same cup as you, Kurt, but I do have house drip coffee. So just straight drip with some half and half and no honey today for me. But that's because I was too lazy to add it in. Well, we are definitely all fully caffeinated or otherwise energized. So I think we can just dive right in. We're going to start with a little bit of a pop quiz. So this is a question for each of you to answer yes or no only. Uh, do you make your bed every morning?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Gonna have to go with a no. Sometimes yes.
Well, I ask this because there's research that shows that the habit of making your bed is connected to all kinds of great things like being more productive, being happier, and being more financially successful. So researchers call it a keystone habit that helps you develop all kinds of other habits that actually are what lead to those positive outcomes. So starting the day off with a completed task, even just a little one, like making your bed, gives that early sense of accomplishment, helps you build momentum, and then you can do kind of all those other habits and things that lead to what you're really looking for. So we clearly have some variety in our bed making, but I'm sure you all have other habits that are really a core to getting your day started right or helping you stay on track. What are the keystone habits that you all have?
Well, for me, it's I'm forming the habit rather trying to make it into a more consistent habit, and that is moving my body every day. I just got a gym membership where I can go to a lot of different classes. I'm actually going to a dance class tonight because now that I've been going for like this is my second week back into the gym mode. I'm like, I got to move my body. So I have been finding myself to be more energetic. It's been helping me to have like more structure in my day, specifically because I work at home. So it can be very easy to be sedentary and not move at all. So it's kind of been helping me to have more structure in my day. And honestly, it's been giving me energy. So maybe that's why I'm drinking the green smoothie and not the coffee because I'm feeling a little bit more balanced and have some natural energy. So that is a new habit that I'm forming.
I can jump in here. I'm not always great at habits, but I have developed a habit of I do this stretching routine every day. And it's partly because I'm as a graphic designer, I'm pretty much just sitting at my computer all day and I get into it and then I'm just like the only thing that's moving is my mouse. So it's just kind of made me get aches and pains and stuff. So I decided I need to get kind of on a routine. So I do that every day right after lunch. It's kind of my new thing.
I mean, my dog is dependent on me to wake up and feed her. So she has a alarm bell in her brain that's like 30 minutes before breakfast, dinner, whatever it is, that she is going to get up and wake you. And it is almost time to be fed. So I think that my dog has given me a routine of I need to be accountable for her. Otherwise, she's going to pitch a fit.
It's funny you say that because when I was kind of deep diving into things for this conversation, one suggestion that actually was like a habit forming one was if you want to do something at the same time every day, to feed your cat at that time every day, and your cat will not let you not do the thing. Like it will remind you. You won't need an alarm because that cat will be asking for food. So Stroop is kind of your habit buddy, your accountability buddy.
She absolutely is.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we talk about a lot in our work is building in rituals and routines. And I think it's really the same thing as what you're all talking about in kind of these examples from your own life. Like you have these rituals and routines that start your day off well, or that help you kind of feel good in your bodies to do the things that mentally you need to do. And I think it's true for all of us when we're trying to make important things happen. We need to be in that space where we are cared for and we are energized and we are ready to go. And these rituals and routines are a great way to do that. So I love those examples. And thank you, Stroop, for your little role in this conversation. So another thing that I thought was really fascinating about habits is that kind of the size or the scale of the habit really matters when it comes to being able to keep it up or stick with it. And people a lot of times pick up really big habits and then or like have an aspiration for a new habit and then have trouble maintaining it and just quit because it's too much. It's too much to do all at once. So that's something that I think the things that you all described just now were kind of they're like that right bite size that can fit into a routine and be something that you do every day.
Yeah, I found that to be true. Like, I don't do New Year's resolutions anymore just because I have these big, big plans I want to do. I'm going to do an hour of, strenuous exercise every day, or whatever. And then first rainy day comes along, which is like in Oregon every winter day. And I'm just like, oh, I don't feel like doing it today. I don't feel like going out. And then pretty soon it's like January 8th and I'm already off track. So, it definitely helps me to do more bite size. I really resonate with that.
I agree. And for me, one thing that helps me remain consistent is having a goal or like an end date. Because I realized over the last week or so that I microdose commitment. So, like, if I'm going to the gym, or have a personal trainer, they want me to commit for like 6 months, and I'm like, yo, that's way too long. Who says I'm still going to be interested in this thing, 6 months from now? Don't want to have to commit to that. It's already overwhelming and I'm already feeling like I don't want to do it. But I do have a goal, and my goal is by my birthday. I want to see some results by my birthday, which is about 3 months away. And I can commit to the 3 months and, get that habit and make it to the gym every day because I know that I want to look, my best when it comes to my birthday. So that has helped me. Like, maybe that is a little thing that maybe eventually turns into like a complete, now it's just my habit. I'm at the gym every day just because I'm there and I know it's good for me and I don't need a smaller goal to help me maintain the habit. Because similar to you, Kurt, like New Year's resolution, it's like, I'm going to eat healthy. And then I'm at BurgerFi the next day, but if I'm like, okay, maybe 2 times out of the week, I'm going to, incorporate XYZ or make my own meal. At least twice a week, I can make a meal for myself. Maybe then that turns into 5 days a week. Maybe then that turns into 7 days a week. Or maybe it's one meal a day that I'm making at home. Maybe that turns into all three. So for me, the small goals or like you said, like the little tiny things that can help me get to one goal eventually help me turn it into a lifestyle.
Yeah, starting with those little things, like just like when we talk about school improvement work, we talk about those little things, key moves and big plays. And if you start with the big play, it's too much all at once. But those little things you can really do every day, and it adds up. And it's, you know, Matt says it all the time, like a million little things can move a mountain. And that's kind of where just like all those little tweaks, like Alexa, you were talking about, like the one meal, or like it adds up to something that is bigger than those little things combined. So it's a great way to start.
Well, I think adjusting your goals so that it allows for a little, like little failures too. Like you need little plays, but you also need little failures. And like if I have a bad day, like if I say I'm gonna, you know, I like for this stretching thing I started, I was like, I'm gonna do it 5 days a week. So that allows me 2 days to not do it. And I've been trying to do it all 7, but if I have two, you know, I'm still okay. So allowing for failure is also giving yourself a little grace in that too.
You know, I love that you mentioned that because oftentimes when I'm on my social media scrolling, some of the posts that pops up is like, what does productivity look like? And every day it's not 100%. Sometimes the most you can give is 10%. Other days you can give 50. Some days you can 30%, but you're still giving what you can, or making a step toward whatever goal that you have. So even going back to like the educational systems, if you're trying to build culture within your school, every day it's not going to be 100% of teachers, or a teacher may not feel 100% that day to do a great opener, but they may give 5%. And that 5% is giving Johnny a high five, or asking somebody, you know, how their day was, or nurturing a relationship that they already have. And if that's all they can give, they still made a step towards it. So I really like that you brought up like the little failures and the grace for like, you can't expect yourself to perform at 100% every day. But if you take a small little step, even if it's at 5%, you still are closer than you were the day before.
I like the
Yeah.
deadline idea too, because I think that we have a tendency, or maybe I'll just speak to for myself, that if I don't give myself a deadline of saying like this is due by this time, I am just going to be procrastinating. I will do it. I'll wait for the very last second, and because I put it off, I'm not interested in it, or building that habit is hard. And so having that deadline of, okay, by 3 months, I am going to be doing this, or I'm going to have this built into my routine, or, you know, like I want to see this big culture shift. I'm not going to say in a month's time, I'm going to say like, I'm going to give myself a reasonable amount of time, and then microdosing that. Right. And giving yourself maybe little baby deadlines of like, in a month's time, I want to see this shift, or I want us to be able to do this right there. I think those things are really important, instead of being like, general, I want this.
Alexa, I think you've coined a new phrase with this microdosing commitments. Bringing it over from a different part of context.
I
Yeah.
mean, yes, because it sounds a lot better than like I have commitment issues, right? I just like, I can only commit to something for a little bit amount of time, and then maybe another little bit amount of time, and then, you know.
Okay, so the last thing, something I learned about habits when I was deep diving into podcasts and reading books, and it's going to sound so obvious, like this is not something I should have learned, it's something I should have already known. But the motivation for the habit is actually a huge part of whether or not you'll be able to stick with it. And I listened to this podcast where they were interviewing the founder of this nonprofit that's really cool called Girl Trek. And this nonprofit was started as a public health movement to address health disparities for Black women. And what they basically do is they've gotten millions of women across the country to start walking more for health. But they didn't do it by pulling up health data and, you know, giving that speech that your doctor gives about the benefits of exercise. They did it by creating community and inspiring groups of women to get together and view walking as radical self-care. They connected to the roots of the civil rights movement. They really empowered women to be this visible, strong presence in their neighborhoods to promote community safety and awareness and take back their neighborhoods. And it just became something really big and really widespread that wasn't just about the walking, even though the walking is so great. Like it has all the positive health benefits. It does all those things that they were really looking to address. But the reason people love this nonprofit and they're connected is because of the community, because of the empowerment. Um, and it's that purpose, that why that made it stick. So that I thought was just a really lovely way to think about habit. Like I myself have definitely tried to bring various habits into my life, like running and other things that it's not my passion. It's really hard to maintain if you're forcing yourself and you're not getting joy.
And I love that this podcast that you listen to and this reflection that you provided also emphasizes community. Because oftentimes, if we try to do these things alone, who is to motivate you but yourself? And we all know our inner voice can be positive, but that negative inner voice is like, the bed feels much better than going to the gym. You could just stay here. Or like, maybe I don't have to do XYZ because it's easier to do whatever habit you're trying to break. But when you're doing it with community, sometimes it is a community who's your accountability partner or the reason why you get up. And I think that's a huge motivator when you're trying to do something new. If we're thinking about like schools and the education system, like if you're a leader, that's oftentimes you're doing things in silos. How are you using your teams, your PLCs, your leadership friends to help you get up every single day to make that change that you're wanting to make? So I think community is a huge, outside of the why is a driver, but I think having people around you who are also aligned with that why can really help when you're feeling 10%, somebody else can give the 90. Or maybe it's multiple people that will equal that 100 to move forward.
I think Alexa, there's such a good point in there too. Like when we're individuals and maybe we're talking about our own health and fitness, like obviously we can only do that ourselves, but in schools, when we're doing this work, it is a collective. It's not just the responsibility of one person. And so this building of a habit isn't all on one person's shoulders. So I love that collective. And even more like, if someone is doing it every day, that little thing is still adding up. It doesn't always have to be the same person.
I think you're both bringing up a really good point too about like there's a point where you need to be intentional about pulling your community in, sharing your goals with someone and saying, really want to see this, our school move in this direction. Can you check in with me every once in a while to make sure that I'm still on track for my part of that? It just keeps your goals in front of you, but it ties you in with other people that are also want to be intentional about some of the same goals for you or for your community.
So my best friend calls it an accountability buddy. When
Love that.
tax season rolls around and we have to do our taxes that we both hate to do, which only takes about 30 minutes. But around that time, I always expect a call or a text message from her that says, we got to be each other's accountability buddy. And I'm going to do my taxes this weekend, and you got to check in on me and make sure that I do it. And I find that as we're having this conversation, I need an accountability buddy for a lot of the things that I need to get done or I need to do. I remember when I was a preschool teacher, and I found that I had a room of 33-year-olds, right? And they're just booking it. They're running all over the playground and everything. And I was like, I can't keep up with these kids all day, every day. I need to do better health-wise. So I was working on my cardio, and that held me accountable, not because I was like, I need to get healthy for me. I was like, I need to get healthy so I can chase these children around, because they're little legs, but they go so fast and so far for so long. And it makes me think about that toolkit that we have in our website around, I think his name was Michael Jr., who talked about like your why and knowing what your why is and how that gives that importance and passion of what it is that we do and why we do our certain things. That's what's going to motivate us. Because I think back of if I didn't have those 33-year-olds chasing, screaming, and running all over the place, I might not have been consistent on running and being on that treadmill and being proactive in order to make sure that I can make sure they don't face plant into the mulch.
Like what you just described is actually really similar in some of the research that I just read about too. And a more kind of stark example, there are lots of people who go through health experiences as smokers where their doctor tells them, like, if you keep smoking, you are going to die. Like, that's pretty harsh consequences. Losing your life is a really harsh consequence. People struggle to quit smoking if they just choose to quit smoking because their doctor told them to. But the people who are successful are the people who are like, I want to live to my child's 16th birthday. I want to live to see this person I care about have this experience. And that is what gives people the motivation to actually quit smoking. When you think like living would be enough, it's actually usually that purpose that's more specific. And back to what you were saying, Alexa, connected to community that helps people actually stay on track to doing those things that are so critical to all these other things in their life. So yeah, it is very specifically like those people around you can really motivate you to hold a habit.
Did you guys hear the ding on my computer a second ago? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
My sister was sending me a drip of water emoji to say that she drank her first 20 ounces of water today. So
Yeah,
she's
You're
right
gonna
on,
love
right on track.
everybody.
Wow, look at that timing.
Yeah, good timing.
Well, we could spend the rest of the day discussing habits, but I think we've got to practice some discipline and end this here. It has been so much fun talking with you all, and I cannot wait until next time. Cheers.
Same.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.